Hello, my name is Allie, and welcome to my channel. We are back with Mystic Destiny Serendipity Aeons, Shinji's route. Let's go. He quickly explained that he got a message for us to meet up and arranged it to happen in Galen's safe house. Shinji said that the place is safe enough that we wouldn't be disturbed by any surprise visitors again. I got down here as fast as I could and found Shinji, Mickey, and Lachlan already there. Why am I always the last one? Shinji and I sit down next to each other on one of the couches while Lachlan takes a seat on the one opposite of us. Mickey gets us some tea, warm drinks for hard conversations, before sitting down next to Lachlan. I wonder if Shinji got his casual helpfulness from her.
Now, I promised to give you my side of the story, so I'll start at the beginning, if it's fine with you.
We would like to know everything, so yes. Shinji nods along with what I said. Even if outwardly he doesn't show it, I can feel the hidden nervousness in his eyes. I quietly reach out and hold his hand. Surprise flashes on his face for a second before turning into a small smile.
It all started with Soraka, when Soraka decided to get me through Killian. She was smart enough to realize that if she approached me directly, I might not have fallen for her tricks.
Lachlan sighs.
So she went after the only person who was precious to me. She came to him and befriended him. She made him believe that she was the kind-hearted and warm person. Soraka played around with him enough that he would want to introduce her to his best friend. And from the time that he did, she worked to make me believe the image that she had created for herself, whatever. I don't know how I didn't see through it. Maybe if I had then.
He sighs again and looks at Shinji.
No. If I had seen through her then, you wouldn't have been born. You are the one thing I do not regret, could never regret. Even if I couldn't be in your life before.
I see. Then I give Shinji I'm derping really bad right now. I give Shinji's hand a little squeeze and he manages to smile for me.
She became pregnant with you not long after I confessed my feelings for her. And I was overjoyed at the very thought of having a child with the woman I loved. The day you were born was the happiest day, but it seems it was not so for my lovely wife. She did not have a name for you, and I admit that at the time I did not think it too strange. She claimed that she would like to let me name our son, since that's what her father did for her. I was more than happy to.
So she didn't even care enough to give Shinji a name? I look at Shinji out of the corner of my eye. His expression is unreadable. Shizuka may have created me as a way to get rid of her curse, but it seems that even she cared more for me than Soraka cared for Shinji.
I wanted your grandparents, my parents, to meet you, so I took you with me to visit their graves. But it ended up being far colder than I had thought it would be, so we returned home earlier than Soraka was expecting us to. Intending to surprise her, I quietly snuck into our bedroom, and that's when I overheard her talking. It sounds so cliché, he chuckles mirthlessly. But I overheard her talking to herself. And in a split-second decision, I had illusioned myself to be invisible, which allowed me to hear everything. How disgusted she was in having to actually bear a child. How annoyed she was with everything taking so long. How she wished for the kid to grow up already so she could get on with finally being the queen mother to the High King of Avalon.
Lachlan's voice cracks with held-back emotion.
The disgusting little goblin had better be worth it. If I let Lachlan influence him too much, he might grow up to be too independent, and I can't let that happen. At that point, I had heard enough. I took Owen and immediately left for the human realm.
And that's where I come in. I was married to Tomoaki? I don't know. At that time, my late husband couldn't conceive any children, and that was fine with me. Our families were disappointed that they wouldn't have any grandchildren, of course, but they had made peace with it. Then one day, out of nowhere, Lachlan came to us.
The Hirayama family have ancient ties with the Winter Court, the one I was born to. They began? That sounds so weird. They began, but I guess maybe they were begun? I don't know. By a union between the Fae Connell and the Yukiku Hirayama, a human woman. So my hope was that they would be willing to help me.
Mickey smiles and squeezes his hand. And we were. We were happy to. I never thought I would have a child, but the moment I saw little baby Shinji, I just knew I had to protect him. So Tomoaki and I agreed that we would become his parents.
I used old, somewhat forbidden magic to subdue his fade blood. It weakened his magic and altered his appearance enough that he could pass for a mage child. I knew that if Owen had all his powers as a fae, it would just bring far too much attention to him. I left him with the power to control the elements.
Tomoaki and I agreed that it would be the safest for everyone if we truly thought that Shinji was our child. So our memories were altered to make us believe as much. Her eyes fit over Shinji. I'm very sorry, Shinji. I didn't mean to lie to you. I know you would have preferred to know the truth, but Shinji interlocks our fingers and gives my hand a light squeeze, which I return gladly. It's okay. I know he can't read minds, but I hope my words reach him.
I understand.
But are you okay with it? I look to Lachlan again. Why didn't you just try to out Sorika for who she truly is? Lachlan actually laughs.
No matter how royal my blood is, no one would believe the child of 2 executed traitors over the Lady of Flowers. Sorika doesn't have a single selfless or kind cell in her body, but Killian is not a bad person. As far as I have investigated, Killian has no idea of the kind of person he serves, the kind of person that he is in love with. He's too blinded by the love to see Sorika's true self. I deeply regret not trying harder to pull him away from her, but I don't think he would have ever listened to me. And so I spent the last 20 years on the run, waiting and watching to make sure she never made contact with Shinji.
It's hard to imagine Sorika as the woman that Lachlan described, and I want to say as much. But when I truly think back of all our interactions, there have been some things that were strange or so out of place with her image that I chose to ignore them. From that, it's not a hard conclusion to make. So Sorika has been using me all along. It's hard to accept the way she presented herself. I admit that she seemed like the kind of mother I wished to have, but I suppose that's the whole point. A bitter laugh escapes my lips. So my own mother might really be the better one after all. Shinji chuckles a dry and joyless sort of laugh.
Yes, you would have guessed that you actually lucked out in the mother lottery.
Whoops, not you, but who? Yes, who would have guessed? I nod and looked back to Lachlan and Mickey. So what's the plan? How do we end this?
We need to capture Killian first. While he may be an easily embarrassed clod, he is still an excellent warrior and not one to be underestimated. If we can get him on our side, everything will be much easier. And if we can't, then we at least need to get him out of the way, preferably without killing him.
With that, the 4 of us tried to come up with a plan. Ideas are thrown out left and right, but nothing seems to be good enough. After Killian would see through it, either Killian would see through it or it can't be made to feasibly, my goodness, work without ending up dead. I allow myself time to think while the others talk, and something finally occurs to me. I'll lure him in.
What?
I'll lure Killian into a trap. Are you sure? It would be very dangerous. What if you get hurt? I shake my head. Should that happen, it's a risk I'm willing to take. But just think about it. He is bound to trust me more than any of you, more than Shinji. Unlike Shinji, I haven't shown any previous distrust or hostility towards Sorika. Quite the opposite, actually. So I know I could pull it off. Without even looking, I can feel Shinji watching me as I explain my plan. When I glance at him, I see that he is giving me an odd look I can't quite decipher. He grips tighter onto my hand with a smile, and maybe it's just my imagination, but I can sense his eyes telling me I trust you. So I will lure Killian somewhere by saying that I've found the criminals, that you're talking to Shinji and that you'll be distracted with him there, which is, of course, the perfect time to capture you. But I haven't quite figured out how to get Killian to come alone, without his fearsome-looking knight in entourage. Perhaps suggest that it would be much easier for Lachlan to sense a larger number of people coming, which would mean that we could escape before they even get there. My God.
Killian can also be very hot-headed. It's plausible he might not even consider to bring them if there's a possibility of capturing us.
That could work. But how do I even get him to come to me? It's not like he has a phone number I can call up.
He does not have one of those, true. But simply calling out his name should work.
Why?
I have little doubt that he has been shadowing you. So calling out his name would get him to show himself to you. You know what? I'm going to let you guys go here due to the fact that I'm derping so bad. I hope you are enjoying, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.